Welcome back to the It's Bigger Than Me podcast. I'm your host, Molly Gomez. Y'all, I'm already going to give this snaps. Like my girl, Brittnee, you are going to fall in love. You see what I'm saying? She is incredible. She invited me on her podcast. And when we got off, we just kind of sat back in our chairs. We were like, what was that? Like, Lord, this was so good. And it was an instant connection. And when you find somebody that's real, doing kingdom work, especially, I know that her mission field is in the marketplace and so many other places as well, but she just has such a strong message branded by God, and she's doing incredible things with it for people's brands, for God to get the glory through their story, through events. I mean, so many amazing things. So Brittnee, I am so excited for you to be on this show today, and welcome.
Molly, thank you so much. I was telling myself I was gonna behave, but it just we are in sync. And I'm super duper excited to be here and excited for our conversation today. It's gonna be good.
Well, you know what? Whatever behave's supposed to look like, I just say, do you. Do whatever it is that comes about because that is just the real you shining through. And that's, I'm sure, what people want to hear and what they want to see. And before we really dive into branded by God and the incredible things that you're doing, and we'll even have a time in there where we'll talk about a messy middle moment of, not everything just looks like incredibly curated, like your website and your socials and everything that's beautiful about you and who you are. Everybody has those moments, and I'm excited to dive in on one of those today. But let's give the folks at home that are watching, listening a little bit more about who is Brittnee Smith.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Brittnee N. Smith of Brittnee Smith Creative Company. I am your go-to for branding, strategy, design, all things creative, specifically for Christian women in business. Those are my people, and it's all because I want to brand you in the way that God sees you. So we do that through websites, brand photo shoots, graphics, video coaching, events, all the things. So that's what I do and who I am. I have a podcast, as Molly mentioned earlier. I'm a mama of two crazy girls, a wife, an elder at my local church. I'm a teacher in a high school. Your girl does a lot. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm working with women that I get it. They're busy, they wear all the hats, so do I. And I know how to pull out what God has put on the inside of them. So that's what I do in a nutshell. And I love it. I love it. I love it.
And I love that part about you because you can tell that you love it. And you're living from that lived experience of, I am spinning all the plates. So you can't really tell me like you can't do it. It's a matter of, what are we going to do to make that happen? What can we do to bring this brand and this vision and what God's put inside of you alive? And, everything that you do, the visual side of things, it's so important. Myself, I mean, I can be a visual creative every once in a while, but I'm always having to like, hey, my sister-in-law is incredible at that. I'm like, hey, can you take a look at this? And I'm like, thank you. I tried. But people like you get it, you pull it out. So you take the vision, bring it to life. And so let's back up for a second and talk about like branded by God. Like, where did that even come from? Was it out of a need? Was it like a divine download? Like, where did it come from?
It was absolutely a divine download. And so I like to say that we are sent and called to serve people who are like we used to be, right? Like we passed through where they are. And so that gives us license to deliver them for where they are, right?
Hmm.
So I was the million idea person. I'm all over the place. At one point, I was at an event. I had cupcakes on my table, but I also had candles. And I'm like, let me take your picture. Like, I was just all over the place. Lots and lots of things going on. I knew I wanted to be in business. I loved God, but really just could not put them together. And at that time, the school of thought was to be a professional, you got to keep your faith separate from business because, it's not politically correct or whatever. And so I was trying to fit into one or the other, right? So fast forward to 2024, I found this organization called The Assigned. And didn't quite know what it was, but I saw the graphic for it in like February. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be there. Then I saw the price for it. It was like $2,000. And I was like, I can't afford to be there. So I kept seeing the graphic for it. And long story short, I got there. When I got there, the Assigned is an organization for women who are called to the marketplace. And it's a Christian organization. So there was Jesus in the room, and there was sales talk in the room. There was praise and worship, and there was pricing strategy. And I'm like, this is a thing. Like my brain was like processing because I have my notebook out, like, let me write down this formula, but then my hand is lifted in praise at the same time. Like it was just my it was something happening, right? So I come through this beautiful experience. Shout out to the assigned, okay, visionary commander Ashley Record. She is the visionary of that. It was just an amazing experience. So following that, I went to another event called the Cultivation Clinic. Now, y'all, God is intentional about his words. Okay, he's intentional about words.
Yes.
So he confirmed that I was assigned at the assigned experience. I'm assigned to the marketplace. Then I went to the cultivation clinic and the theme was positioned. And I'm like, Lord, what you trying to say, Lord? And at this clinic, I was brought there to be on a panel to talk about branding. But again, before that, there was praise and worship. I'm on the floor in snot and tears. And I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to be presenting after this. Yeah, I look up and there's people around me like, oh, I'm like, what? What just happened? I was in. And so driving home from that experience, I'm like, Lord, this is a thing. Like that's what you're showing me. You're showing me that there is a space for women who love God. Like not just the kind that go to church and like golf clap when they sing your favorite song. No, like I love God. Like praise and worship hate to see me coming because I'm dancing around. I find me a flag. Okay, I'm gonna wave it. And so to he made me realize that there are women like that in business. Like there are God's daughters in business. And we need a space where we can be both. Like Jesus
Yes.
was fully God and fully man. And so why would we not be able to operate as fully Christian and fully entrepreneur?
Come
Right?
on.
So driving home, I'm like, Lord, there has to be a place for us. And that's where he gave me branded by God. It's for women who are marked by God to master the marketplace. And we handle both. We will be in the same room and we will teach and train. But yeah, I'm also going to pray for you because this mantle of marketplace ministry is not light. It's not easy to carry, especially in this kind of economy, right? So that's where it was born. I was driving home and I'm talking to God and I'm just like, what? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh. And so that's where it came from. That's where it happened.
I love it. And it's just being in the right room. The right room does everything. And so when you're searching for a room, don't just be like, oh, they're not out there. Keep digging, keep going. And I know you've created a room by branded by God, and I know a lot of people that follow me here on this podcast, they know the room that I've created. They align in a sign inner circle where you can have that proximity. It matters who you're around because that's what you're going to have things in words and people that are praying for you, feeding into you. Because why? It's just lunacy to me when people are like, let's take faith out of everything. And it's like, that is the foundation of who you and I are for sure. And a lot of people listening and watching this, why would you ever do that? So, how can you bring it in? And I love that you have cultivated that space to really bring it in. And so, when you are working with somebody that wants to be, branded by God, they want to build that brand, they want to put it out there, they want to be in those rooms or even create those rooms or brands so people know, hey, this is a thing of whatever they're putting their hands to. What do you say the most common misconception is when it comes to being branded by God or what you see in your space? Because I love to kind of tackle these so we can be like, yeah, let's get that out the way so we can move into the real stuff.
Absolutely. So when people think branding, they think logo, website, colors. And so oftentimes they'll come to me like, hey, I heard you were great at websites. I need a website. And I'm like, all right, cool, cool, cool. Let's have a conversation first. And what comes to mind, and this is like blowing my mind right now because God is just talking. When God was creating the heavens and the earth, right? He spoke it as words, let there
Mm.
be. There was a conversation between him and the nothingness. And then the earth and all the things was created. There was a conversation. And so oftentimes I will have that initial conversation and I'll tell them, all right, before you tell me about the website you're looking for, I want you to tell me what's on your heart. Let's just start there. And so they start to share their vision and all the things. And that is them having a conversation with the atmosphere, if you will. And it's there that I'm able to really see what God is trying to do. And so by the time we're done, I'm able to translate what heaven is trying to do in and through their business. And it's
Mm.
not that they weren't hearing right, but there were some pieces missing. And you know how we do when God has given us a recipe and we're in the kitchen cooking, And when God, he never turns his back, but like when we think he's not looking, we'll like put a little of our own stuff in there. Sometimes we put
Yes.
too much of our own stuff in there, and then we get this product and we're like, what is this? I'm able to help them see where those gaps are and make it make sense and give them that clarity. So now we can brand you. Now we can build the website. So the misconception is that your brand is just the external pieces. And if you are a author, a speaker, a service provider where people are dealing with you, you are the brand. And if you are broken, your brand's going to be broken. So a lot of times I have to deal with the broken pieces first, put it back together and let God show you who you're supposed to be, and then we brand that woman. So that's, I'm telling you, it's my favorite thing to do.
I'm so glad we went here in this conversation because I'm like, I'm not sure where this is going to lead, but this is the fun part, right? Like, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
It is such, I mean, it's just so beautiful how he'll lay it out where you can go to anybody to like build something, right? Anybody can be like, "Oh, I could do that." But when you have the gifting and the discernment and the gifts and you pair your belief of like, I know it's not just me sharing this word with you. This is the Holy Spirit. This is like divine download and like this is a revelation for you. And those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, they will lock in with that. And
Yeah.
that's what's so beautiful is we just will go to the prettiest thing or we'll go to the one has all the results and all these things. It's like, this is why discernment in this hour is so key because you shouldn't just partner with anyone. You have to go for the ones that really see you or can see beyond how you even see yourself and pull that out. And
Yeah.
having that in a brand is so important because it's visuals will speak before you even utter a word. And so you're having them tell you the words, you're pulling it out, and then you're making the beauty happen. Now, when it comes to your brand, I mean, there's so many probably ways that we can go about this, but obviously, like you're stunning, your brand is stunning, everything you put your hands to, you can tell it's done in excellence. It's like just point blank, period, excellence, Brittnee, that's you. Where was that middle moment where it was kind of like, okay, I'm not really sure if I'm meant to do this. What can I do this, Lord? Where, like, is there a messy middle moment that you can recall where people can really kind of lock in with of like, okay, this looks great, but I can't relate to that, right? Maybe I'm not there. Like, this is the part that really is gonna kind of like pull back the layer, if you will, if you can recall a good opportunity to share with us.
Yeah. So again, so many things come to mind because for there to be a middle, there has to be a start and an ending, right? And so I think about every season has a messy middle.
Yes.
Like every season has a messy middle. So one that comes to mind is a season where I tried to put God in a box and trying to tell him who I was going to be.
Hmm.
And so at first, before I had kids, I'm like, yeah, I'm the girl on the right. That was the name of my brand at the time, Girl on the Right. It was about being your authentic self and living out loud, which I'm still that. But God was like, that's not it. And then I had a daughter, and I'm like, oh, well, Girl on the Right is no longer because now I'm a mompreneur. And it was like, oh, what? Like, I'm a mompreneur. I speak to moms about business. And so I started I had this mompreneur society on Facebook. I did because I design things. So I was like, all these beautiful graphics. I'm out there like, yes, where all my mamas at. And when I say nothing hit, like nothing stuck, I was so like discouraged. My pastor mama, spiritual mama, I was like, Mompreneur Society. And she was like, so I was gonna ask who's gonna tell her, but I'm gonna tell you. That doesn't seem right for you. And for someone who has struggled with feeling good enough and just really wanting to get it right, that approval addiction, to hear that from her, I was like I was just totally distraught. And so from there, you spiral into who am I? What am I here for? What am I called to? And all of these just confused thoughts and things. And so that was a really weird time for me.
Mm.
Just trying to figure out who is Brittnee N. Smith? Like, Lord, if that's not it, then what is it? Because I'm trying. And I don't know if any of you listening or watching have ever been in that place where you're spinning your wheels and you're doing the things and you're working so hard for there to feel like you have nothing to show for it. That was a messy middle for me, to the point where depression crept in because I'm like, I have all these pieces here. Why is nothing clicking?
Mm.
And it's because I didn't let God in to it. I was showing him what I was doing, but wasn't allowing him to orchestrate what I was doing so that what I showed him was pleasing to him. You know what I mean? So that's just one of many, many messy middles.
I think that's so relatable. I mean, you said something that I know has struck with me. I've been there where you've built something and it's like, oh, this is so good. And then it falls flat and you're like, but I poured all this time. And it's kind of like I see God like just being like, yeah, I'm just letting you do your thing. And you just let me know when you want me to tap in. Like, I'm happy to come in when you're ready, but I'll let you exhaust yourself to the point where you're the only one gassing you up. But praise God, you have a spiritual mom, somebody who's honest with you, right? Like people who are honest of like, not quite. Like, I see where you're going with this. Glad you're all in, but let's be all in with something else, like something else. So that's so relatable. And you didn't stop there. So let's like tap on that part. You did not stop there. You could have been like, oh, I can't do this again. And for somebody where I have, in my entrepreneur journey, my first consulting business built it to multiple six figures, God shut the door. Then stepped into something else for 5 years in international membership. He had me walk completely away. Now building something else, like professional builders here, right? So builder connecting with the builder, it's like you pour everything into it thinking that's going to be it. And God's like training ground, training ground. You're learning, you're learning. So how did the mompreneur lesson, we won't call it a failure, we'll just call it a good lesson, right? Good life lesson. How did that like spin into, you getting God out of that box and working with him side by side?
Yeah, I really just had to allow him to connect the dots for me. If there's anything I can say, I definitely have become a firm believer in taking those lessons. Like, okay, that didn't work. This is why. How do I pivot and move forward? One thing about Brittnee N. Smith is she gonna come back. She gonna reinvent and come back. And so that's an encouragement. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're a person, okay, because we all go through different phases and
Yes.
stages and all the things, and we will try things. Don't be that person that gets their heart broken and never loves again.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Because if you choose not to love again, you lose the benefit of loving fully and freely, but then you also cut everybody else off from that benefit. And what this is not about me, right? And so you're not allowing the love of God and the power of God to flow through you when you close yourself off like that. So one thing about me, I'm a bounce back. It's going to have a different package. It's going to be a different color next time. Okay. But I'm coming back wiser. So that was one of the things. So I'm still a mom. I'm still an entrepreneur, but that's not all my identity is. And
mm,
so that was the takeaway, that now for where I am today, I am the multifaceted woman who does all the things. And I just so happen to be called to the marketplace. Like, yeah, well, I preach, but the pulpit ministry, like God's work is bigger than the pulpit,
mm,
right? So if I look back and connect the dots, every lesson learned was really me just exercising a different facet of me, so that getting to this place, I can be comfortable in having the mama conversation, having the entrepreneur conversation, having the teacher conversation, having the vocational conversation, all things to all people. Why? Because when you get to the marketplace, you are dealing with all those kinds of people. So he had to give me practice in speaking the language of all the different people I was going to encounter.
mm.
So that's kind of the mindset that I've had since then. And trust and believe. And if my pastor mama was on here now, like we laugh about it now. It's like a running joke, to the point where I'm bringing her an idea and I'm like, okay, now this is not like the other 5011 ones. Okay. I mean, there were so many. I had this thing where I'm like, I'm gonna call it Inspireverse. And it's going to be a conversation suite, and we're gonna talk about different things, and it's for all women who blah 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 blah. Like it was big. It was big. It was worldwide. Inspireverse. And she was like, nope, not it either. Nope, not. And I'm like, it's like deflating. But yeah, just resolving to not stop, keep fixing, keep tweaking until it blows. And I firmly believe that branded by God is the thing. I think God was literally waiting for me to put him in it for real. So yeah.
I mean, he's in it. He's like right there, front center
Yeah.
in the brand, like in the name, like it's
Yes.
right there. And you
Yeah.
said something so powerful. Like he had to put you through these different scenarios, these different ideas, and even being gracefully shut down of like, not it. So you could really be able to speak the language of the people that you will serve. I was like, ooh, that right there is a whole bar. It's a whole line, like a whole sermon, really is like,
Yeah.
those are the people that you get to serve now because he's like, if you're going to lead these people through it, you have to have that lived experience, and therefore I have to do these things. And I even think of, for my career of being a news anchor and a reporter to now and helping people with their story, the amount of times when I was younger, so many people being like, be quiet, sit down, you're too much. And then I just had so much pride back then. I tell people, I'm like, that's what that led me through. I was like, forget y'all. Like, I'm going to keep talking. And now look at me, like just always talking. But there was a lot of refinement that happened into it. And so there's just like lean into that. Like you're not going through, it's not wasted. God's allowing this for a reason. And when we say, God, use me, I'm here, I'm ready, but we're like, oh, but not like that. Can we just, but if you don't, if he doesn't, then these people won't be able to really like have that. She gets it. They understand what I'm walking through. And you had so much experience. I mean, even now with all the plates that you're spinning, I mean, there's so much experience that's on that. And it's amazing to just show people how it is possible. It doesn't have to look like, the chapter 20 of somebody else. Like you get to build up to that point. And I feel like you've done such a graceful job of being able to make it happen and show people what it looks like to persevere and push through.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm reminded of a time where I really had to just like we've been saying, like lay it down. Like, all right, Lord, so this is your thing. Clearly, I'm not driving. I'm just not, and I can't. So, what do you want me to do? And that's like you said, it's in the name. So I can't be out here branded by God and doing my own thing. So even with the conference that I planned, I started with an idea and I did not like God told me to do it. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll be back. I'm gonna go do it. And he's like, no, like do it with me. So from November to January, I was doing it. The assignment he gave me, but I was doing it, right? And so things weren't like they weren't settling. It just didn't feel what. And so I said, Lord, I'm not doing this right. What do you need me to do? So now I'm pivoting speakers and cutting things out the budget and refining the messaging. And now it's starting to click. It's
Mm,
like, oh, I had to have some hard conversations, you know? And so again, just keeping God like this is
mm,
all his thing. It all belongs to him. Like it all belongs to him. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you see what you see, okay? Because we weren't always this way. You use the word refined. And I'm grateful. I'm at the place where I can say, Lord, I'm grateful for the fire.
mm-hmm.
I'm great. Like, yo, oh, it's hot. That means I'm going to another level. Brittnee N
Ooh,
3.0. It's hot, but I'm gonna come out hotter. Okay. So, I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
I love that. It's, there's one thing I wanted to highlight when she was saying like, Lord, like you said, I can't do it. So when somebody looks at you, they probably think like she can do it all. And you are a strong woman. You're a woman that probably, at certain points you're like, I got this, right? And the whole point is you don't. So when you look at a strong woman and she's saying, I don't have this, it's not out of a place of a weakness. It's out of a place of surrender, of knowing that like God is, there's so much more involved. And so having more examples like that is, I mean, I am here for it. That's why I was like, I know I have to have her on the podcast. Like it's just so beautiful. And then you also said when you made certain tweaks for your conference that you had, it's like it reminds me of if you were on an airplane and you're like 1 degree off where you're flying, you'll be on the
Sure.
other side of the world. So
Yeah.
it's not 20, 50, like 10, degrees. It is literally 1 degree can make all the difference. So what's what they say, like 1% better every day type of a thing. And so
Yeah.
I think that's such a strong message to take from here is like, look, I surrender it all. I've picked up the bag. I don't want the bag. I want him to carry it and then tell me where to go so we can co-labor together. And
Yeah.
then really, how can I be refined? So let's turn up that heat because we know when it gets hotter, like there's some good stuff that will come from it, and the stuff that needs to be burned up will be burned up.
Yes.
So, man, oh, Brittnee, this is so good. And as we're wrapping things up today, I'd love to know, like, is there anything else you'd love to leave us with? And of course, how people can get connected in with you because she is all the things, everyone, all the things. So you gotta get in her house.
Yes, yes, yes. So I want to lastly end with that example that you just gave with the 1 degree. Do not be too prideful to make an adjustment now, because you will find yourself halfway across the world. You done used up all this fuel. You done used up all these personnel hours. You got to pay all these people for the mistake that you made, right? If we're following the analogy, if you're listening to this right now, there is an adjustment that you need to make, and you need to make it now so that you can get to where you're supposed to be on time. Because nobody likes a delayed flight, okay? And you take that, you take that how you want to take it. But if you don't pivot now, what happens to a plane that runs out of fuel midair? Exactly. It's going down. It's going down.
Down.
It's going down. So that's my encouragement to you. Pivot now so that you don't have to parachute later.
Oh, you better brand that. You better write that.
Oh,
I
oh,
love it when it just flows out and you're like, did I say yes? Yes, you did.
Jesus. So you can find me on all platforms at Brittnee N Smith. That's Brittnee, middle initial N Smith, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. Come into my space. I love to have you. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, so good. You guys, like you already see. You see why. She's incredible. She is who she is and it's like just clear as day of just the real. Like you just I just love how you just live from a place of transparency and vulnerability. You're like, here it is. And your story throughout of just the messy middles come in all seasons. It's absolute in all levels. And so it's like, don't be discouraged when you're in that season. Like steward that season. I mean, like, okay, Lord, what do you want me to get from here? What are you trying to show me? Rather than, can we just shuffle on to the next and get out of this? You'll be going around that mountain so many times. And I'm sure you've had seasons where you've circled a couple mountains too long. I know I have. And so we learn from our mistakes and we're like, how can we circle this maybe like a quarter of it and let's get out? Whatever you say, Lord. But
Yeah.
ultimately, Brittnee, you are such a blessing. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This was a blast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Go. Remember that your story is so much bigger than you. If this episode encouraged you, maybe challenged you, or even had you feeling that you're not alone in this process that we call life, share this with a friend who needs to hear this message today. You can go ahead and connect with the guest that we had on today's show, or even myself. You'll find all those links to connect in the show notes below. And just know God is using even your voice to be mentorship to somebody else. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you next time.